Y'all, let's move to the next topic, man. Jason McIntyre. So, we're talking about all of this, this new era stuff and how they're playing the basketball game and how we don't like it and how it really needs to upgrade and how it doesn't compare to yesteryears and the golden era and all of this good stuff, man. But the funny thing about this is everyone's trying to figure out what's going on. Adam Silver claimed that he's about to launch an investigation to try to figure out where all this 3-point shooting is coming from. You got to be freaking kidding me. You launching an investigation. All right. So you don't know the rules that you changed and the directive that you gave your officials and all of that stuff. You didn't know that was going to result into what we're seeing now. You didn't know that. Ain't that what you wanted? Right? That's what you wanted. So I think that's kind of disingenuous for you to say you launched an investigation. That's kind of crazy, right? But everyone's trying to scramble and try to find answers, and they're pointing and placing blame, man. I found 2 interesting clips, man. One from Jason McIntyre, who seems to be 1 for 100 annually on good to bad takes ratios, right? As a matter of fact, I don't even know if I can say 1 to 100 as a ratio, because I don't think I've ever heard a good take from Jason McIntyre. I think all of his takes are bad. I think his takes are historically bad on purpose. I think his brand is outrageous, far extreme bad take, with being annoying because his voice is annoying. His eyes and his face is annoying. I think that's his brand. I think he's purposely pushing bad takes out there, and he had a very bad take just recently this week or last week on Colin Cowherd's show, where he blamed the entire Inside the NBA panel and TNT for what we're seeing in basketball. He's saying the ratings dropping. He said the main reason why the ratings are dropping is because Inside the NBA on TNT. Listen to this.
J-Mac, your thoughts? I'll be watching tonight.
I'm a big NBA guy.
So I'll be watching tonight.
This take probably won't be very popular, but I would argue that Inside the NBA, the show that everybody loves, has done more damage to the NBA in the last decade than anything. Forget about this woke and left and right.
Yeah.
Inside the NBA goes on every week and just trashes players, trashes the style of play. Colin, you look at any other show, MLB Network, NFL Network, these shows, our network, we're all positive. We're excited. We're talking about the games. Inside the NBA, they just hammer the players. Charles Barkley's on TV. The Rockets are in the Final Four for that NBA Cup. Oh, the Rockets don't know how to play basketball. They stink. They don't know what they're doing. What are you doing? You're damaging your product on a nightly basis, hammering it. Colin, globally, the NBA is fine. Much bigger sport globally than the NFL. Well, yeah. In America, the ratings aren't great. That's obvious.
How's it doing in?
He said globally, the ratings are fine. He said the NBA is doing fine globally, which is the concentration of the front office in Adam Silver. Like, we want that market that's untapped overseas, right? So you're going to see a emphasis placed on making sure that we can prop up Luka, Giannis, Embiid, Jokic. We're going to make sure the foreign players get a little boost, right? We're going to make sure they're going to get their hands off the merchandise treatment in the playoffs. We want them to be successful as possible, because we want their home crowd back wherever they're from, or just a European-based audience in general. We want them to be, proud of what they watch. There's no way to make a fan base happier than seeing someone that reminds them of themselves, or someone that represents them, or someone who represents where they come from. I mean, that's basically what sports is all about anyway. People root for a team, and they root for that team their entire life for a couple of reasons. One, I might be from that hometown. He represents, or that team represents where I'm from. So I'm going to root for them with all of my might. I'm going to buy their merchandise. I'm going to buy tickets. I'm going to fight for them. I'm going to debate about them, right? I'm going to represent them. All right, that's what sports is all about. So if you can create what we've created over here in America with people loving their cities and their teams, or players that came from their city, or players that remind them of themselves, or players that represent the struggle that they came from. Right? I know a lot of people who emotionally love LeBron James because they're just from Ohio, and to see a kid from Akron go out and do what he did and win a championship with Cleveland, it's an emotional connection with it. Can I create that same emotional connection with people overseas? Because if I can create the type of fan base overseas that we have in America, then that means I got the best of both worlds. I got people locked in America and people locked in several other countries. How am I going to do that? How am I going to make you love the NBA so much that you can't even not watch if you wanted to, because you have to root with your whole heart for your countrymen? Everyone that's from wherever Jokic is from is probably watching and defending Jokic with every breath they have in their body. If I do a Jokic video and say anything negative about him, the comment section, you won't believe how many people from overseas get caught up in that algorithm and be in my comment section calling me every name in the book. Like, they love really hard for their countrymen. And then you do the same thing with Luka. So if you're pulling that type of audience, and you can create a LA Lakers or a New York Knicks or a Dallas Cowboy like fan base around one player, it's going to be very hard to do it for a team because they're not from here and they've never lived in these cities. So you're going to have to use players to do it and make that emotional connection to the overseas audience. You're going to have to use players to do that. If I can make that emotional connection with an entire fan base of millions of people that love Jokic and Luka, I can have them watching the NBA for another 15 years, as long as they're playing, which will lead me to my next big network contract. By that time, we'll find another player. By that time, we might have an expansion team in New Mexico or Mexico City. We'll grab that fan base as well. So Adam Silver's mind is on the overseas market. More money, because he feels like, I got America on lock. I can never lose them. As long as the Knicks and the Lakers exist, which is the hugest fan base and the hugest market we have in the NBA, as long as the Lakers and the Knicks exist, we're fine. And if we ever start to struggle for real, all I have to do is make sure one of these great stars get to the Knicks or to the Lakers. Wembanyama will probably be a Laker within the next 6 to 7 years. Anthony Edwards will probably be a Knick within the next 6 to 7 years. If the NBA ever starts to fail too much, I just put one of my superstars with one of my bigger markets, and we're back, baby. They got us figured out like sheep. So forget fixing the product, but let's get back to Jason McIntyre. He's going to try to blame inside the NBA Charles Barkley, Kenny Smith, Shaquille O'Neal, and Ernie Johnson. He's going to blame TNT and their entire crew on the ratings drop for the NBA, saying that they're criticizing how bad the product looks, and that's the reason why ratings are dropping. And basically he's saying, when we turn it on and hear people talking to media, we want to hear nothing but cookies, cake, raindrops, chocolate. We just want to hear everything candy coated raindrops. That's what we want. Give us that. Give us the sweet candy coated raindrop lie. Don't tell us the truth. Just like that book, The Emperor's New Clothes. You got your emperor walking around here butt naked, and nobody around him wants to tell him he's butt naked. Right? The Emperor's New Clothes. Hey, I need a new outfit for this parade. Well, how about this invisible outfit? And your entire cabinet of people that's supposed to be taking care of the emperor or the king, they know that he's butt naked out there, but they won't tell him because they don't want to get fired because they couldn't come up with a good outfit for him for the parade. So they sent the emperor out there butt naked to embarrass himself, and they just oh man, King, you look great. Oh, it looks good, King. Oh my God, if only you could see this. That's what Adam Silver is right now. He's the emperor on top of the NBA, and Jason McIntyre is saying, continue to lie to him. we're going to blame the people that's telling him the truth. Why would you tell? The only reason why people are not amazed by what we see on TV on the NBA floor is because someone is telling the truth about how bad it looked. They should be lying and telling them that it looks great. That's what Jason McIntyre just said. But the worst thing about that is that Jason McIntyre is not the only one who said that, right? JJ Redick said it as well.
I don't think we as, and by we, I was part of it, we as the sort of national partners have done a good job of storytelling, of celebrating the game. If I'm a casual fan and you tell me every time I turn on the television that the product sucks, well, I'm not going to watch the product.
Plain and simple for JJ there.
Can I start?
Yeah, go ahead.
Because I think JJ Redick is full of thank you.
He's full of it. I got you.
Poppycock. He's full of it. Because they're giving us way too much credit, okay? Inside the NBA, the reason actually why it's so popular and why it's done so well for a long time is because they are honest. You know what people don't watch? People don't watch your local post-game shows where it's rah-rah home team. That's what people don't watch. Where I'm going to watch my team get blown out and you're going to tell me a story about how they were in the game for the first 3 minutes and how they can build off of that next week, next game or whatever. That's not what people want to hear. That's not the reason. It has nothing to do with Charles Barkley, Shaquille O'Neal, Kenny Smith. Zero. The reason people aren't watching is the quality of the game. And I respect Charles Barkley and those guys and TNT for being honest with the fans. It is a nationally acclaimed show. Everyone's tried to copy it. What they can't copy is the authenticity of the comments about what's going on in front of you, what you're watching. They have not always been bashing the product. Have they over the last few years? Yes, they have. And rightfully so.
Wow. So JJ Redick, see what go on in the media is one person say something, whether it's Shannon Sharp, Nick Wright, Stephen A. Smith, or in this case, Jason McIntyre, they say something. And everyone else that want to protect this era of basketball or be like, oh, that sounds really good. We'll start repeating it. And then once the right mouths start to repeat it, it becomes law amongst the basketball community. And enough people start repeating it as fans. So look for the next couple of weeks, whenever you have these conversations with friends, they're going to hear JJ Redick say that. They're going to hear McIntyre say that. And you're going to hear a lot of fans say TNT is to blame for the ratings drop because they're telling the truth about what they see. And what Jason McIntyre and JJ Redick is suggesting is that you lie to the public, you lie to the basketball community, you lie to the fans, and you tell them what you're seeing is gold, even though you know it's trash. And they try. They try to make sure that they're doing a responsible thing by the NBA as partners and say, we have to not tear the game down too much. We got to uplift the game and we got to make sure that people are interested. But we also have a job to be honest. And I think people like Charles Barkley and Kenny Smith and Shaq at least take that serious enough to say, we got to be honest. If the baby's ugly, we got to call the baby ugly. If the baby is ugly and they ask you, you must call the baby ugly. You have to. You cannot look a Gila monster in the face. You cannot look a gift horse in the mouth and then turn to the pappy and say, oh, that baby going places. That's a bad day. That's a good looking kid. If the eyes are cocked like a pistol and the teeth are as crooked as Wall Street, you have to say so. And that's what the NBA is. The NBA is an ugly baby. and you're asking me, how does my baby look? And I'm going to tell you the honest truth. That baby is hurt. But I like them shoes, though. And that's all that they're doing on TNT. And that's what you got to do, man. If the baby's ugly, call the baby ugly. I'll catch y'all on the next show, man. I appreciate it. Peace.